13.72 million SUI tokens got unlocked in July, and that selling pressure is the same that we see with most altcoins. Because of token unlocks, many altcoins are struggling. However, with SUI there's also positive news. Yes, the tokenomics are not great, but there are new partnerships for real-world asset integration, for example with the largest centralized exchange in Africa. Or here, a SUI ETF getting listed on the Nasdaq, so now traditional finance investors have access to the token. So in the end, what matters for the price development is the marginal buyer and the marginal seller. What's going to grow more? What we've got over here, that's the SUI price in US dollars. If we assume that SUI just trades around an equilibrium, so the average price, that's the dotted line over here, that's at $1.79, then we might have potential to appreciate by 150% from here. Now, is this the most likely scenario? Let's have a look at the on-chain data, the data most people are not considering. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. I hit my first million 3 years ago, and that is mainly through active trading of altcoins. My track record is on the website down below. In the last 2 years, I started to publish my trades in real time. We are now at an all-time high when we include the open trades, and we made 47% annualized, while the vast majority of people lost in the last 2 years. Every single trade that I have made and already closed, that's public over here on this website down below. Now, the open trades, they are of course available to the premium members. Still, I don't think that many people in crypto are willing to share their track record like this. Now, SUI is rather complex. What matters most is that the time to finality for a single transaction is very low. And at the same time, the throughput can be very high. There are recent tweets that measure SUI's transactions per second, and that's outperforming everything else. Even SUI itself, the official channel on X, is bragging about the scalability of SUI. By the way, if you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, then feel free to also check out the account of this channel. I publish data regularly over here. Make sure though that you follow the right account. So that's @BitcoinStrat. Make sure you don't follow a fake account. @BitcoinStrat is the only real account. Now, this is SUI's price in US dollars. Here is SUI relative to the rest of the altcoin market. So we are dividing the SUI price by others. Others is the market cap of all the altcoins that are not in the top 10. Now, there's a lot of volatility here, but at least we see higher highs and higher lows. And we are rather at the lower end of that trading range. The potential risk versus reward seems very attractive. Now, why do we see those crashes regularly in the SUI price? One of the explanations is tokenomics. Unfortunately, SUI still stays an inflationary token, so the supply grows over time. That means we've got an increase of 5% over the next 12 months. The circulating supply will move from 4 billion to 4.2 billion. An inflating supply is only a problem if the demand doesn't grow at the same rate. Now, a hurdle rate of 5% doesn't look bad. However, the TVL, the total value locked, measured in US dollars, collapsed from 2.6 billion down to 400 million. Measured in SUI, it looks a bit more stable, so most of the decline was just the SUI price itself going down. Still, the growth of decentralized finance on SUI is not as constant as it once was. Tokenomics really matter. Have a look at the market cap, that's currently at 3 billion. It's very far away from the all-time low, but have a look at the price. That's much closer to the all-time low. And that difference between market cap and price is just token inflation. It's simply new tokens hitting the market. Now, that token inflation used to be much worse in the past. Still, with a market cap of $3 billion, 5% of token inflation means potential additional sell pressure of 150 million per year. And that's at a total value locked in decentralized finance of 450 million. That's definitely significant. We can also see that the SUI price tends to trade in line with the attention. As in, the more people talk about SUI, the higher the price. The less people talk about it, the lower the price. This is true for most cryptocurrencies. It's also true for SUI. If the number of social engagements, so that the bar chart, goes down, then the price tends to follow as well. Now, short term, especially for SUI, we've got a lot of speculation, especially with the levered bets. On the spot market, we had 30 million worth of trading volume. On the perpetual futures market, we had more than 100 million worth of trading volume in the last 24 hours on the leading exchange. Most people that use leverage to bet on SUI are actually optimistic. So there are more longs than shorts. In other words, people that bet on rising prices outnumber the people that bet on falling prices. We can see though that the leverage in the asset does have an impact on the price. So this is open interest in green, how many bets are currently placed on SUI. And when this is high, when there's a lot of leverage, the price tends to be high. When this is low, when there's less leverage, the price tends to follow as well. Luckily, we are currently not at historically high levels. It's roughly 500 million, and this went at the peak to 2.5 billion. But that leverage causes volatility, right? The market makers might be manipulating the price to the upside to liquidate a lot of shorts, and then afterwards to the downside to liquidate the longs. That's exactly what we have seen on the 10th of May, the price shooting up and then subsequently declining. First, it was the shorts that got liquidated. Subsequently, it was the longs that got liquidated. The trading volume is rather low on the perpetual futures, again, a potential positive sign because there is positive correlation between trading volume and the price as well. If trading volume goes up, then the price will follow as well. So given the massive volatility of SUI, even relative to the rest of the altcoin market, right? Those rallies being roughly 400% versus the rest of the market, I think it makes sense to find correct entry and exit opportunities. And obviously right now we are comparatively cheap. The question is the momentum already turning around? Are we stabilizing? I like to answer that question using backtests, so simulations of buying and selling an asset. My preferred approach is to optimize moving averages, to find the perfect golden cross and the perfect death cross, so the best crosses of two moving averages. So this comes from Bitcoin Strategy Analytics, the backtesting platform of this channel. We are backtesting SUI relative to the others' market cap, and this is the result. At the bottom, we've got the best slow moving average, and on the left, the best fast moving average. So those are all combinations of potential moving averages. And we're trying to find out what is the best combination. And the answer is here at the bottom left. It's the 5-day plus 10-day simple moving average. So rather short term. This is the performance over time. So we've got the SUI price at the top and we've got our trading equity at the bottom, a strategy that tended to work quite consistently. And the delta in performance is massive, even without any leverage. So buying and holding would have not been that great for SUI because of the token inflation, annualized minus 38%. But following this particular market timing strategy, we would have made 150% per annum. And so how does that look like today? Let's have a look at the live chart. We got a golden cross on the 26th of June, and we are currently rather bullish on SUI. So it's not just that the potential risk to reward looks great, it's also that the momentum might be turning around. The fundamental question is, what will drive a potential rally? Because right now, decentralized finance on SUI, unfortunately, is not growing. We do have our stories, like the real world asset narrative, or like the ETF narrative. But will those stories turn into real numbers? That's yet to be seen. At least we can actively manage our risk. If the 5-day SMA falls below the 10-day SMA, we can simply exit again. But in general, this approach worked very, very well. So I think it's important to at least not ignore that trading rule for SUI. And so this is in general how I trade altcoins. That's why the history looks the way it does. We don't just randomly pick altcoins. We try to find back-tested approaches that historically worked well. And we did the exact same, say, for Luna Classic. So have a look at this, right? We got a death cross of the two best moving averages for Luna Classic. And then subsequently, we bet on falling prices at that point. Subsequently, we closed that short once we get the golden cross. So those kinds of trades, they don't work every single time, but on average, they do perform quite well. Now, of course, I cannot share all the open positions that we're now running in premium, but I can share at least one trade. So this is what I've recently set up. This website is linked down below. It's in the pinned comments. You can get a first flavor of what we're actually doing. So you get one free premium trade. That's a trade that I currently have open, that the premium members have open as well. And you also get a premium tutorial video that will explain everything, how to set this all up, how to do the risk management, what kind of platforms to use. So you can either get this via Telegram, you can click over here or scan this code. Alternatively, you can enter your email and get this email to you. If you don't have time to manually copy trade everything, there are also automatic copy trading vaults. Here's the performance of all the vaults. Our altcoin trading vault is currently at 20% annualized in profit. Last year, we got 44%. The trend followers for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana also all outperformed buying and holding the asset. Bitcoin, we started in October of last year. Ethereum, we started at the beginning of the year. Solana in March. and the altcoin copy trading. That current vault started at the beginning of the year and the last one was in 2025. So yeah, the valuation of SUI looks quite interesting. The momentum is also shifting around. The question is, can the narratives materialize? Do we really get real world asset trading on SUI, and do we get demand through the ETFs? If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.